There she is. How are you?
Hello, good morning on that side of the Atlantic. It's definitely 1 in the morning here in California,
Really
and it is the first hour after the 4th of July.
amazing. How is it being there, and how was it celebrating the 4th of July, Anna? Welcome to the show from the other side of the Atlantic.
It was honestly a bit improvised because I just arrived in this area on like Monday, and I was like organizing the networking and the plans that I want to do in the next few weeks. And 4th of July wasn't really on my plans. So I just kind of went to the nearest town to see what was happening. And that happened to be Santa Clara. And there was this party going on with some concerts and some food trucks. And we also got to see the fireworks in a park called Great America. Of course, it had to be called Great America.
Great
So
America Park. Fantastic. So that's where you celebrated it. And how was it? I mean, I'm guessing that's your first Independence Day celebration, at least in America.
yes, I was just commenting. I saw less people wearing flags than I thought. I would say it was like 1 out of 10.
Oh, okay. All right. Very restrained for our American friends. And generally, how's it going for you over there?
It's been quite interesting. There's been quite a few culture shocks, such as you may
Go on.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
explained. Yeah. Well, honestly, one of the first ones was when I arrived at the airport. And you know how in Europe you pick up your bags in the bag claim area and then exit the passenger area to meet up or to go outside?
Hmm.
Well, in here in America, apparently, the baggage claim area is in a public area, so anyone can just go and grab your bag,
Really?
which which completely mind blow me because you know it's America and everyone likes to sue everyone and they are all about security. And
Yes.
why?
Or maybe they don't want the responsibility. Okay, look, there's your bag. You're on your own now.
I don't know. I don't know what the logic is there, but I was quite surprised with it. So
Wow, that's
that was
amazing.
the first thing that I really didn't think about. But there's just a number of things that you just realize when you are living here, because I've been working with Americans for over 3 years now, and I would think that I was pretty used to hearing them and know expecting a lot of things, but there are so many things that I still go like, oh.
Really? Well, I
Yeah,
suppose, yeah. I mean, everything's been turned around, hasn't it? You're used to welcoming the foreigners into
yeah.
Portugal, and now you are the foreigner in America. So that's really turned the tables, hasn't it? Any other culture shocks then?
There is no such thing as low-cost flights. So the
Ouch.
flights between states are like 150 to $350, which isn't too bad, but I mean, low cost would be nice. And oh, they ask you for ID to enter any bar, like no matter the age.
Yeah, but you
Because,
can
you
take it
know,
as
in
a compliment.
Europe, you are used that they just care about your ID if you look like you're under 18.
Yes.
And there's like, you cannot enter without ID, not even the picture. It has to be the physical ID. So I actually had to go back to the hotel to get my passport. Otherwise, I couldn't have entered bars.
It's amazing, isn't it? I had that. I mean, I think I was possibly 30, and I thought, oh, this is really great. I was quite flattered that somebody was asking me for my ID, and it's just standard practice routine, isn't it? It's not because you look young.
Yeah, I was like, do I look under
Yeah, sorry
21?
about that. Of course you do. Of course you do. But yeah, I think they're just checking as a matter of course. Anything else then? What else has occurred to you? I mean, you haven't been there that long, have you? To be fair.
No, I've arrived last week. It was about a week. I arrived last Wednesday, so I'm here like a week and a day.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty early. I know there was the things that I was already expecting, like the cost of life and the health insurance thing, but it's still different to see it here. I'm
Yeah.
still constantly mind blown by how expensive everything is. And I've been talking a lot to the Uber people, and they are one of the ladies. I mean, people tell me she probably was hustling a lot but she told me she made $8,000 per month on Uber. So like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And they say that in order to live comfortably here in this area, you have to make at least $10,000 a month.
Amazing, isn't it? That's quite
Imagine that in Portugal.
well. Yeah,
Imagine
absolutely.
living with that in Portugal.
Well, no. To be fair, Anna, the ex-prime minister is leading the way. He has set the bar high and an example to the rest of us here. He's got himself a new €30,000 a month job with the European Union. So
True.
it is possible, but it's not most people. It's not most people's
Yeah,
experience. And that, I mean,
not at all.
the idea of that, of, having to earn that much before you break even, it's like, thinking, well, you've got to work until Friday afternoon at 4:00 and that's the government and everyone else paid before you make any money for yourself. In the uber capitalistic society of America, it's quite incredible. So that's something, isn't it? How are you finding the food?
Honestly, so far I wasn't impressed with it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So,
You are known for your
but
frank and forthright views. There's one.
in their defense, I have not been going to any fancy places. I've been going to pretty run-to-the-mill places. Like I ate at the zoo, I ate at the hotel, I went to a few pubs and chain restaurants. I haven't gone to any fancy place yet. And
Right.
also, I'm kind of afraid to go to any fancy place because I don't want to see the bill at the end.
No, true. But aren't you afraid to eat at the zoo as well? I mean, God knows what's in the sausages at the zoo.
I think it's probably good because if anything improper was there, they have been sued. They would
Okay,
have been
yeah.
sued.
Fair enough. There's always that. There's always that. Now we've got a few Americans joining us, of course, in our community here.
Yeah, but
Have you got any questions for them?
just today I went to a food truck on this 4th of July party here in Santa Clara, and I paid, I don't know if it was $16 or $18 for a sushi roll, like
You
this
have
one, like
got to be
6
kidding.
pieces of sushi. Yes, I'm like, holy. And it wasn't
Holy
even
hell.
a good sushi roll. It was
Oh,
just a cheap
insult
one.
to
So
injury. Okay, all right. Well, so there's all our complaints about America. What are you loving about being in the land of the free and the brave?
the entrepreneurship spirit and
Yes.
the business savviness that they have here. I mean,
Yep.
for me, that's the best part. And
Yeah.
everyone is honestly very nice and very easy to talk to. I mean, I think it will be pretty easy to network because how willing and helpful people tend to be.
Mm.
I mean, today, because I'm staying at a house, but my host is not living here right now. So I'm kind of on my own. And I went to this 4th of July thing was also a networking event, which was kind of an improvised one, to be honest. Only like 6 people showed up. But still, everyone was super helpful and it's super easy to talk to. And they even drove me kind of halfway because it would be so hard to get an Uber in the middle of chaos of everyone leaving from the fireworks.
Nice.
So people just have been super welcoming.
That's lovely to know. And you're in California. Will you be staying in California for your whole stay there, or are you visiting other parts of America?
No, I will be probably next month when we have our call. I will be somewhere else. I'm not sure where yet because I'm still planning my trips, but I'll be leaving on the 20th for at least 2 weeks, and I'm probably going to spend those 2 weeks in different cities.
Yeah.
And I'm still organizing that, so I'm not sure in which city I'll be. But I may still be in California, maybe like in Las Vegas or something. But I'm also considering Portland and Phoenix and Los Angeles, so there's options.
Great. Okay. Well, you're already being invited back to Portugal. You should come to my networking event next time in Portugal.
Sure.
Stephen. Oh, well, I'm joining him on Tuesday evening, I think, Stephen. Feel free to put the details in the chat. Marcus, I think here this morning, PT Country Bear, we left almost 5 years ago and don't miss it. And yes, the hustle culture and can-do attitude can be intoxicating. But remember, it exists because people would starve otherwise. What a sobering reminder about the context of the entrepreneurial spirit in the States. Is there anything you want to know from our American friends here who are watching, Anna? Because,
I guess I would love to hear some recommendations about good places to network or
yeah,
any like companies that organize that sort of events. That's
yeah,
kind of the what I'm focusing on right now.
okay.
I've been looking online, like on Meetup, and that other site that does like this kind of events thing. And of course, I've been asking everyone that listens to me. So I guess I'll ask here too.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. Okay, so I mean, the purpose of your mission is presumably to reach out in the States
Yes.
to
So
people.
most of the goal here is exactly visibility and have a more direct connection with US customers
Yes.
and a more direct reach. So that's what I'm here for, basically to make myself be heard.
Okay, and apparently to check out bigger pockets. I mean, that
Well, I
breaking.
already work with Americans, so it's
Yeah.
not really about bigger pockets.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just
fair enough.
about bigger, more direct connection, really.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like the music business. It's always the big market to conquer has always been the United States. Is the I guess the spirit.
It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest economy in the world. I think California, as a location, is one of the biggest economies in the world.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? So to get a little piece of that and to connect with a little piece of that is a very good strategy. And we'll do all we can to help you from this side. And I hope you'll be checking in with us as your journey and as your adventure there unfolds. Apparently, bigger pockets. That wasn't a suspicion about your motives. That is actually a real estate company. No, says Stephen.
Oh,
It's a
okay,
real estate
okay.
company in the US. Great
Okay.
to meet.
Very misleading. And that's another thing, actually, I've been seeing here is the names. Like, some of the names are just, I don't know, like bigger pockets. You would never call a company that here in Europe, I think.
Probably not. If it was called Bigger Pockets in England, it would be because it's a shop that like converts your trousers into, for you for the aspiring entrepreneur. Here, some bigger pockets. You haven't got much money yet, but when you have,
But it's definitely memorable, though.
yes, your pockets will be ready when you're rich. It's interesting for me, says James. Incidentally, his new Old Guy in Europe video is out today, episode 4. Whenever I have spoken with a Portuguese about the cost of living in California and the size of the country, it's almost like they just don't believe me, even when I make quantitative comparisons. Can you relate to that?
Yes, because I've heard my clients talk about it, and I'm like, wow. But then it's completely different to actually be here and, paying for things. It's like,
Yes.
damn.
Yeah, well, for sure. So yeah, James, absolutely right there. And Marcus, LinkedIn. Okay, I'm sure you're on LinkedIn already, very popular in the US, but I've been out of that circle.
I do have to keep my profile more updated because honestly, I don't use it a lot, so I need to be using it more.
Yeah, fair enough. So get that dusted down for use in the United States. Before you go, then, I really appreciate you staying up late for us. Thank you very much, and I'm with the brigade for that. Is there anything we can do to keep the fires burning over this side for you? Which is probably not the best choice of metaphors here in Portugal.
Yes, because you know how for like 3 months now I've been saying I will be getting a new website.
Oh yes,
I have been promised that my website will be ready somewhat until the end of the day today, which I hope is the promise kept. And even worse, our website hasn't been working since last Friday. That was the last deadline I gave to the company that is developing the website. But after some threatening, they have promised that it will be ready today. And I really hope that's the case. Yep. So I would be extremely grateful to anyone who is willing to go there and see things up, give some feedback. And if you find any bugs or anything that doesn't work, let us know. Because, these things, when they launch, they're never perfect, especially when it's been the project as dragged on as this one was.
Okay, it sounds like you've suffered and struggled with this.
I suffered.
Of course, we will check that for you. I mean, the other thing we could do, of course, now you're in litigation culture. James is a very good actor. We could get him to ring your web company up with his American accent. Say, I'm representing my client, Anna Caramujo. I'm a top lawyer, and you will be sued if this website's not ready. So we could try that as well if you want. He doesn't. I don't think he actually talks like that. I'm probably no
No, I
lawyer.
actually did get to the point where I got my lawyer involved because it was getting pretty
Seriously?
ridiculous.
What
So,
a shame.
in that sense, the whole suing culture in the US is positive in the sense that it creates a lot of accountability. Like, if people don't do things properly, they will have consequences, often
Yes.
exaggerated consequences sometimes.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's better than no consequences at all. That is often what happens in Portugal.
Very
So
interesting. Yes.
to give you an idea, this whole website thing, I started talking to the developing company in like October last year. They were supposed to start developing in November. Things got delayed. I only paid in December. They were promising to like mid-February to have a website. We are in July.
My goodness. Well, good luck with that. So it's going to be published on this very day. So take
I
a
do
look at
hope
that.
so. At
You,
least
yeah, okay.
that was what I was
Yeah.
promised.
Fingers crossed then for the 5th of an Independence Day, second Independence Day, independent from your website company, hopefully. Although you'll be in a long-term relationship with them, and hopefully that relationship will improve. Did you hear the news? This is good stuff. Mrs. M, the banging on the desk you can hear, and the person crawling behind me on all fours is Mrs. M, who's going to be joining us in just a moment. And that is because there have been rumors, Anna, that I am actually living, because Mrs. M hasn't been seen for ages. People think I'm living in my mum's basement doing the Good Morning Portugal show. We've been kicked out of our family home. It's not true, unless she's an AI generated character. We'll find out in just a moment. But the
Is your mom in Portugal, though?
No, I had to go back to London. I mean, people are saying I had to go back to London. Right. The NHR news, did you see that? Because this is going to be useful to you with your networking and attracting people to Portugal. The NHR is likely to be brought back for professionals. Did you hear that? It was news released yesterday.
Yeah, I do hope that was actually something that back when the elections happened, one of my agents had some inside contacts on the parties, the small parties that belong to the coalition. Yeah. And she did say they were going to push to revert some of the things that happened, the decisions that were made last year. So I guess it's working, and I'm very happy about it. So I definitely will have to look into the details of how that's going to happen and what specifics will qualify for that. But that's definitely amazing news, and I actually hadn't come across it yet.
Good. Okay, excellent stuff. So all the best over there. Let's let you get to bed. So delighted that we could connect.
We still have 10 minutes, so
okay,
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so anything else? I mean, do you feel like you're out of the loop then here in Portugal?
It's a lot harder to keep in the loop because of the 8-hour time difference. So the time where I can actually still do like the meetings with my team and so on tends to be between 4 p.m. and like 7 p.m. there. That's like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. here. So it's a really small window. And because I've been pretty busy just catching up and getting adapted here in the US, I haven't been paying as much attention to what's going on in Portugal. But this is just this initial phase where when I kind of moved to a different country, although I'm not going to live here, nor I have any intention to. I very much like my healthcare. I'm still going to have a fairly long stay here because my goal right now is 3 months to network and organize and plan and get things working on my own, and another 3 months to train someone to do that for me and get things running here in the US when I'm out.
What a brilliant plan.
It's a fairly long stay. And yes, this first phase is that phase, of the culture shock.
So if anyone knows anyone who might be that person for you, to reach out to you as well, somebody.
Yes. I guess it's a PR and sales position mostly, and basically to have more direct contact and direct support here in the US. That will one of the things on my to-do list is also to go to the embassy and just ask how can I help create better bridges and facilitate the processes for both parties.
Very
So
good.
that's definitely something I want to do, just overall making the process as smooth as possible for people coming and having a bit more support on this end.
Very good. I'll put you in touch with Stuart from Canopy as well, who we had on the show last week. He has a networking entrepreneur pitching event. I think it's most weeks in Lisbon, but they also have a branch in the United States as well. I'm sure he'll be able to help you over there. Bob's asking, as well as saying, good to hear about the NHR adjusting a bit. Are you looking for a Portuguese American for your assistant? And I'm asking,
that would be pretty cool. But yeah, because the position is basically partially selling people on Portugal. So
yeah, very good. Okay, and are they going to get 10,000 a month?
Probably not. I mean, the idea is to have, I have no idea. I have to see how profitable they are. But the idea is to be like a base salary with commission. And I will be working out how much that will be on the next few months, depending on how things go here.
Well, that's amazing. And the other thing, of course, that we should mention is people might be thinking, oh, if Anna's in America, in California, she can't be helping us in Portugal. That's not true. Your team is still hard at work in Portugal.
I have 7 workers. I always focus more on the incoming clients, and I mostly work personally on the investment projects, like the big investment projects, like the one we have in Gaia with 150 apartments. The company is fully trained and fully systemized to support clients fully on the relocation and rental and purchase of homes without my direct involvement.
Well, you've done a great job there then. So that they are independent and ready to help people who want to move to Portugal. So just because you're out of the country doesn't mean people can't get service.
Yes. That's what I've been doing the past 3 years, getting the business optimized and the company structured. And as my coach, my business coach say, a business is something that works for you, not because of you.
Oh, very good. That's
it's supposed to be, but I'm still on the very much because of me phase of things.
Of course, it's a work in progress, isn't it, to get to that? And I think it's typically very difficult for an entrepreneur to detach in that way. So that's amazing.
It's not really about the touching. It's about making the systems work and, things not fall apart when you're away. That's kind of the idea. You're not supposed to be everything falling on you.
Yeah, very good. So this will be a test of that. Something else I'd like to ask you about or talk to you about is we went to Santarém on, because, you're helping people relocate to Portugal. You're helping them research interesting places. And Santarém is fantastic. We didn't realize how beautiful and enjoyable it was to be in that city. Not often on the map for people, is it?
The last time I was in Santarém was 2 years ago. And I think it's a very good city when it comes to proximity to Lisbon and price quality, but it's not a particularly charming city, or at least it wasn't to it. I think it was kind of messy when it comes to construction and so on, a bit all over the place. Then you have that outer area that faces the river, which is a bit more charming, and you do have a lot of older homes and so on. But I wouldn't call it a very charming city, but it can definitely be a very good city to live in from a practical perspective.
Yeah, we thought that. And where else then? You say you've been operating for, I think you said 3 years now, and it was very obvious, wasn't it, when people were first coming, they were interested in Lisbon and Porto. And in those days, maybe Aveiro as well. That was beginning to be on the map, wasn't it? Setúbal was appearing as an attractive place to go, and of course, the Algarve was a bit of a perennial. What else? Where else is emerging now as a place to settle for people?
Honestly, one of the most popular locations for us in the first 2 years was the Silver Coast. For some reason, things got a bit quieter there now. I'm not sure why. Right now, we have more popularity in the north. But one of the reasons I did my national tube trip was also to showcase the interior of Portugal and the different
Yeah.
areas there that tend to be a lot more affordable. So I would say a place to put on the list is Viseu, was my personal favorite during the trip. And Abrantes is
Yes.
interesting as a city because you have the old city that is an old city that needs some rehabilitation and it's still a bit run down. But then you have the new city that is completely different, full of new buildings. And you have a lot of very interesting nature locations around, like some small waterfalls and streams and fluvial beaches and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it can be a very interesting location to live in, and it's I think about 1 hour 40 from Lisbon. So that can be interesting. And our Lisbon agent is natural from that area, so she would
Okay.
be able to get all the inside deals there. So
Very good. So that's a branch. In
she
case
is
you're wondering.
extremely savvy.
Of course, you have to be savvy to be part of the Savvy Cat team, don't you? That's how, that's
Yes.
essential and not just desirable when working with Ana Caramujo here. So a
Yes, but
branch.
my personal favorite is still the north, and Chaves is also great and very, very affordable.
Okay.
And overall, I still think that the most beautiful landscapes and the quality of life can be in the north because you have Porto, that is the second biggest city. It's a
Mhm.
very affordable area, and you have some of the most beautiful mountain, lush green landscapes.
Yeah.
And I personally prefer those kinds of landscapes, so I tend to have a fall to that side.
No, I totally understand that. Okay, so for those people who might not be familiar with you, who see this coming out on YouTube, could you just quickly, before you go, detail exactly how Savvy Cat can help people? And that is when they're looking at Portugal, because it's confusing this morning. We've got
Yes.
Anna who's in California this morning and business building over there. But what is it your firm does for people who are looking to move to Portugal?
So Cat is a relocation and investment agency. We work with lifestyle packages that help you in the whole process of moving to Portugal until you get settled. We help you with the documentation, opening bank accounts, and the big distinction of our service is the lifestyle side. So it is very important for us to get a tailored service and to understand our clients' lifestyle needs to try and match them with the best possible locations. We include tours in all of our buying package, which allowed the client to explore these locations in person and ask all the locals agents for the input. And we also support with renovation and construction and manage investment projects. All of our services were done to protect buyers as much as possible. So we also include legal support and engineering inspections.
Wow, I think you're ready for your networking events.
Thank you.
Yes, that's perfectly put. And that's elevator pitch, especially for American elevators, which are bigger and take a little bit longer to go from.
They're actually quite fast. The whole
Okay, so
the
you'd
ones
have to
that.
say that faster. Okay. Anna, it's been brilliant seeing you, and thanks for staying up. Much
Thank you.
appreciated. Let's do this again next month and find out, check in with
Yes,
you again. And
and
if there's
we'll see
anything
where I'll be then.
absolutely, and if there's a lot of great American friends here in our community. So if there's anything they can do for you, I'm sure they'll be happy to do so. And that's exactly, James is on trend with you here. And one of the reasons I'm exploring living in the north, what Anna said there, and I suspect there may be a higher percentage of Americans from Northern California. And Bob also saying earlier on, there are several Portuguese communities on each coast. So you won't have to
Yes.
fly to
I
Massachusetts.
actually, in San Diego, I was taken around the Portuguese neighborhood where there's also like a Portuguese community, but it was Sunday, so it was closed. But there was all the Portuguese flags there and so on, so it was fun to see.
Yes, and you'll hear them tonight, of course, as well. When
Yes.
we play France tonight. I hope you are able to see that. Although, how's that going to work? Anyway, I'll leave that to you. The logistics on the football. Great to see you. Have a great weekend in America, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right,
day. Good
good
Friday.
job. See ya.